fellow Beer Thursdians. Welcome to another exciting round of Beer Thursday. We hope that you're listening. If you're not, we're just talking to ourselves, which is fine. We're good at that. Shane, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Jay. Pretty good.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Shane, do you ever wonder, you see a situation that just doesn't seem right to you, or you see a situation where you feel for someone, you feel like, my gosh, they're helpless. Someone should do something. You ever think, what would Beer Thursday do?
Yeah. No, I don't think that. But that is a very good question. That is a very good question.
I too have had that thought. Beer Thursday's solution would be probably to hand whoever is in duress or in need a beer, but would be
counterproductive in some cases.
Reductive. Feel like Archie Bunker talk all over again. It'd be counterproductive if you gave a beer to an alcoholic or food to someone who's on a diet. But it's I made myself laugh for some reason. So there's a show that I watch on occasion that I really enjoy called What Would You Do? What Would You Do? And it's sets up these scenarios, and usually there's two actors. One is playing the good guy, the one playing the bad guy, and they're in a public situation with people around them, and they act out whatever the scenario is to see how people are going to react. Are they going to say something? Are they going to do something? Are they just going to ignore it? Are they going to agree with whatever the person who's obviously in the wrong says, or maybe you don't think what they're doing is wrong, but it's a great observation of people. And what I love about that show is it really, most of the people end up saying or doing something. Of course, it's most of the people that they film, so they could have filmed to like 50 people that all like.
Or someone does. Yeah.
But for all I know, but you want to believe that people are basically good, and I believe that.
Oh, sure.
Even though there's so many assholes on the road, but
yeah, they just don't do it on the road as everywhere else.
But I do. I believe people are basically good, and that's kind of what the show's the whole thing. Are people basically, or what would you do for someone else?
Ah,
and Shane.
Okay. Yeah.
So
here's what I would do. Oh, wait. What was this? What was the question?
Shall I give you a scenario?
Yes.
Okay. Because you have some of the ideas up there of things that they've done. I do.
I have the episode description, so it lists some of them. It doesn't list all of them in each one, but
I have one that I just kind of made up, and we were talking about this earlier. So, say you run to stop to go grab something to eat, someplace you're going to run and pick something up, take it home. You pull in, you see that there's a homeless guy over close to you, and they're not really saying or do anything. They're just kind of to themselves, but you notice them. So then you go inside and you place your order. Do you think about that homeless person when you place your order? Do you buy them something to eat? Do you go when you leave? Do you give them a buck or two, or do you just kind of ignore it and just?
I get what the good thing about the show is that you can actually see what people do versus, say, hey, what would you do? Well, I would give them a ride down and, I'd buy some clothes and book them up in a hotel for a few nights so they can have, right. So I don't know. If I saw them asking someone else or me for something, I'd probably say, what do you want? I'll grab you something and bring it out. If they were just there and not asking for anything, or I don't think it would occur to me unless
Yeah.
I saw them asking.
A lot of times when I see someone asking, because we live in a world where people mislead people too, I don't know that I'm more likely to do something or, grab them a sandwich or whatever if they don't ask, if they're just kind of there and it's obvious that they're homeless, it's obvious that they're hungry. I probably would do something in that situation. But if they come up, it's like, hey, man, do you have money? Now, here's a situation. Somebody comes up to you. It's like, hey, I'm homeless. I don't have a job. I'm living out here on the streets right now. I'm hungry. Do you have a couple of bucks you can spare? What would you do in that situation? They say they're hungry. They don't have any money.
Typically, if I have something,
yeah,
I give it. But unfortunately, I very seldom have cash.
Me too. I don't. But I have been, I will say, and I have I knew a guy that used to do this. The homeless people would come. And that's another thing, because there's a lot of situations where people are not really in need. They're just scamming. Yeah. And I have this friend of mine, he used to, and I'm sure he probably still does, if a person walks up to him and say, hey, I'm homeless, I don't have anything to eat, you have few bucks to spare, instead of giving them money, he offers to take them to get them something to eat. And on several occasions he did. He took the person and fed him. But then you'll see the situation where the person says, no, because just give me $5. I'll give
Just give me the money.
Yeah, just give me the money. In that case, he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. He goes, I don't know what you're going to do with that money.
I think it depends, because in general, it's
going
to be highly unlikely that I'm really going to have time to take the person, unless I'm going to that place myself, to take them somewhere.
That's true.
That's me though. I don't have that life where I have lots of free time.
That is very, very true. That's a very good point.
Now, there was a few years ago, I was going to San Francisco for work, and I knew that San Francisco has a really high homeless rate. So what I did with that in mind is I set aside some money and made sure I had it. And then, when it was gone, it was gone. But, for the first day or so, I was able to, oblige when someone asked. And then at some point, then I was kind of out of what I had set aside for that. Because in a situation like that, I just don't carry cash for myself.
It feels good when you do something for someone that you feel is truly in need. It's just, I've gotten to where I'm kind of calloused because I don't trust some of these people. It's like, okay, are you really in need, or are you just trying to scam? Because I have heard of I don't know that I've actually seen it myself, but I've had friends who've said, like, where they'll see a homeless guy is getting money, and then he goes and drives off in a nice car.
I've never actually seen that, but I've heard that. I guess that people think that that's what happens.
But then I'll see one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's time for a toast.
Is it time for a toast? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, and do you have one, or shall I?
I do. I have I've been trying to write a toast per day. So I have
a
lot of toasts. Yes.
Maybe you should post those on the Beer Thursday on
some post toast
particular day a week. Yes.
Yeah, I have a plan for that. I'm trying to make sure that I have a good batch of them so that I don't start it for a while and then end it. So I want to make sure that I have, some to get started with, keep it going, and then add to it.
That's a good idea.
But if you would like, I'm going to start from the top, from the
bottom.
Do it. From the first.
Start from the bottom.
Jay, here's to many glasses of love and laughter until that last call at the end of the universe.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Did you make that up?
I wrote it with all my own face.
That, sir, was brilliant.
Thank me and you. Thank us. Thank us all. Are you
So,
about to?
speaking of
you're
yeah,
about to make
speaking of
another-
drinking. No, yeah. So I saw this one guy one time, and probably shouldn't have, but I just thought it was great that he was being honest. I pulled up to a stoplight, and the guy's got a sign that said, "I'm not hungry. I just need money for beer."
Really?
Yeah. So I gave the guy a couple of bucks because of his honesty.
We were in, I think we were in, what's the name? Colorado Springs once,
Yeah.
and we saw a person and they were sitting on the sidewalk, and the sign said was something along the lines of, I just want some money for Coke or something like that.
That's-
Could I have some money for Coke? And then there was a time we were in Madrid, and someone had just left a sign. They weren't there. There was a sign and a bowl and said, please leave some money for me. I'm homeless or something. I can't remember the exact translation, but leave some money for me and I'll be back to get it.
Nothing worse than a lazy homeless person.
Wow, that was insensitive.
Was it? I apologize to all the lazy homeless people.
Now,
The
when
ones that aren't.
for that month, I think it was a whole month when I worked at Star.
Yeah.
I was leaving one day and I saw this guy on the corner, a little ways up the street. Saw a guy on the corner with a sign. I don't remember what the sign said, if it was working for food or help, please, or something like that. And he had been in, he had come in every day and get just a tall black coffee.
Yeah.
So then when I saw him, and this was like towards the end, so I didn't get to do it very many times, but once I saw him, I stopped charging him when he would come in. I would just give him the coffee.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Because Starbucks employees do have a little bit of leeway and say in giving free stuff. So I thought, I don't ever do it. I don't ever comp anything. So
Yeah.
just gonna not charge this guy when he comes in. I'm just gonna.
See, I think that's cool. I think that's,
It's on the corp, man. It's on the corp.
I think it's always a good idea. And I have good intentions, but I could do a lot better. I could
You sure
be that
could.
guy.
For example.
For example, well, we were in church a couple of weeks ago, and
Right. No, just kidding.
the pastor was telling this story about this woman that started my wife's going to kill me for not remembering this. It was like it was a huge donation for a school, like a medical school or something for charity or something like that. Rich woman, very rich woman. And she's sitting in church one day, and this woman comes stumbling in, and this is a true story. This woman comes stumbling in. She's obviously drunk. She sits down at the end of the pew and sits there for a few minutes, and then passes. So
Okay.
all these people see it, and this very rich lady who donated all this money for this to start this school, she gets up and walks over to this woman, helps her up, and the woman starts talking to her and begins to weep. And she puts her arms around her and she just holds her and lets her weep. And that was the example.
Wow.
There's all these people around, but it's this woman that said, we're here for each other. We don't know we don't know what they've been through. We don't know where they've been. We don't know what has made them this way, but she's she's here. She needs help.
That's what churches should be for.
Right. Church, it's not her position to judge. And she didn't. And I'm like, that's so respectful. I mean, that's so something I really respect. But along those lines, about almost every week when I'm coming home, I have an appointment every Thursday. I'm coming home and I'm exiting off the tollway onto going over to Beltline. And there is a man there that is, he looks buff as hell. And he's wearing what look like combat boots. And he's got a sign that said, recently released from prison, have no money, will work for money or a night or two hotel stay. And I see this guy and I'm like, I want to help him. But I see this guy and he's scary looking. So I've never done anything to help him. But because he's scary. What do you do in that situation?
On the road like that, I usually don't stop.
Yeah.
I just keep going.
I see him and I just see people driving by him. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And nobody's stopping to help this guy. And I'm like, being honest, I mean, that's not a great selling point. Hey, I just got out of prison.
No, but we do have a tendency to not give former prisoners a second chance.
Well, and honestly, to me, it's as much as about that as the fact is this dude is freaking huge. I mean, I'm talking all muscle, and that I don't want to die.
That's funny.
But I also, and so then I find myself thinking, okay, is there stuff around the house that he could do for us?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, there is, but what if he's not a good guy and he comes back and robs us?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I would never bring anyone back to my house. If I had a business or something, I might take them there, but I'd never bring anyone to my house.
But I guess I could, get him money for a hotel for a night, but when I don't have enough money. I know.
I was going to say, it's not like either of us has much extra cash lying around.
But it's an interesting thing. What would you do? Is there a scenario that you saw and then when you look it up that popped out to you that struck you?
The one you told me about, I guess there's an interview in a restaurant.
Yeah.
And the employer asks, it just says asks a black applicant to change her hairstyle. Now, is this a younger girl?
Yes.
Okay. And so I guess
it's a white woman, like middle-aged white woman, and it's a younger African-American woman who I would put her in her early to mid-20s, very professional.
Maybe right out of college, that age.
Yeah. And she had a haircut that she liked, that a lot of women do, but it wouldn't be maybe not considered. I don't know. I wouldn't have any problem with it, but this woman had a problem.
I think it would depend on the scenario. If it looked like the girl was hurt or something, I think I would say, okay, look, what do you do? What is this? What's the problem with her hair? What kind of business do you have?
Yeah.
I thought there was an act called the Crown Act where employers could not discriminate against people's hairdo. And now I don't know if that includes retail, and that lady couldn't have, the curly hair. I guess you said something about straightening. Did you say straightening? I thought you said something about straightening her hair. I didn't say that.
About straightening the hair.
Is it me?
Her hair
black woman to straighten.
I thought her hair looked great. Yeah.
Or would they want a guy to cut his hair if he had long hair? I don't know what all it includes. But I also,
I mean,
where
there's
I work with a lot of
yeah.
Black women and with
Mhm.
all kinds of different hairstyles, from just simple and straight to, lots of weaves and colors, and they'll shape it different ways. And I don't know, I guess I see it so much that I just think, oh, cool, it's cool hair, versus I need you to straighten your hair for me to give you a job.
I would never say that to anyone. I mean, it's just, now the only scenario where I would say something is like, if it's obviously obvious that their hair is dirty and it
That
has
wasn't the case here, right? She
no,
had clean, it was just
no,
not
her hair
straight and
was
comfortable
perfect.
for
It
the
looked
middle-aged white
beautiful. Yeah.
chick.
She had a really nice looking hair. I mean, but it wasn't considered corporate
Yeah.
America hair. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And so all these people around her, and then there's people that stood up, and one guy, was like, no, that was a different one. But yeah, people were like, why are you telling her to do something to her hair that has nothing to do with, who she is?
I think I would say to the girl, I would say, because I think I would say, and maybe I have said it to, like, I would say it to, like, if there was a white kid that had long hair and they're saying him to cut his job, I think I would say to either of them, hey, miss, hey, dude, don't cut your hair. If they're going to make you cut your hair, change your appearance to work there, you do not want that job. You do not want that job. And there are plenty of people out there, plenty of employers out there that aren't this short-sighted and small-minded, that will hire you just as you are and let you do what you're probably very good at. So do not take this job. You do not want this job.
Reminds me of a song by a friend of ours, the Hair Song by Colin.
Oh yeah, the Hair Song, Colin Harrison.
But seriously though, I mean, honestly, the long and short of it is, this woman wanted this young lady to change her hairstyle because it did not fit in with white corporate America.
Yeah.
Long and short of it. And that to me was wrong. The question is, if you're sitting there, and what usually happens in these situations is the woman interviewing will get up and excuse herself for a minute, and a person will be left alone. What do you, in that situation, do you say something?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure that my wife and I both, and my kid, would all be saying, and probably not wait for the lady to leave. We'd probably say, don't take that job. Don't change your hair.
Yeah.
There's way too many companies now that'll hire you just as you are.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably a lot of scenarios where I would just kind of cower back and be too afraid to do anything. But in that interview situation like that.
Well, there was another one I saw where it was a homeless guy. He comes into the bar and he's hungry because I don't have any money, but hungry. Can you buy me food? And this person's going to buy them food. And the bartender says, get the hell out of my bar.
Oh, wow.
You're homeless. And the person's like, look, I'll buy them something to eat. I'm buying, and they can just take it with them. They don't have to stay. Nope. Because if I feed him, then I have to feed every homeless guy that comes in here. And so, and so they have all sorts of different people chime in. And this one guy sitting at the bar says, it's your right to refuse it. If you don't want to, if you think he's bad for business, then that's your right to I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but it's your right.
And you don't know the backstory there. Has that person been there before and caused a scene or disturbance or something?
Now, if I'm there, I mean, I'm thinking, okay, just at least let somebody buy him something to go. I think I think that would be reasonable.
Or maybe just to make it quick, just say, here, take this one, and then I'll order another one. That's probably the quick way to get to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's a good topic, Jay. I wouldn't call it funny, but we're not always funny here at Beer Thursday. Sometimes we're thoughtful and interrogative. Dick.
Yes, interroganistic.
It's- well, we hope you've enjoyed this round of Beer Thursday, and we want to know, what would you do in those scenarios? And if you have a scenario, share it with the old pals here down at the Beer Thursday. The way to get a hold of us is find Beer Thursday Show on Instagram.
Oh,
I think that's a way to find us here at the Beer Thursday.
that's where
Or
we are.
you can email beerthursdayshow@gmail.com. Contact us there.
Oh.
We have a way now.
Boom.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Yeah, boom, chocolate.
Nice.
Well, until that time when we hear from you, my friend, I hope you click that subscribe button so that we can hear you hearing us every Thursday morning when that new round pops into your phone like clockwork and you enjoy that next kind round of
Beer Thursday theme song.
at the Beer Thursday, 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 at the Beer Thursday.